I hate to say things like this about a certain group of people because, people have a tendency to say that you're racist when you start talking about other people. But it's so crazy to me how some white people just refuse to believe and see what's going on in the world. And it's so freaking annoying. When they talk about black fatigue, white fatigue is just off the chain. And let's talk about it. Yeah, I was listening to the Clay Kane show. Him and his co-host, I believe her name is Reecie. I can't recall her last name. It's escaping me right now for some apparent reason. But a caller called in. But let me go back because they were talking about the war and how the United States is participating in, harming children. And we know that that's going on. And it's so disheartening. But for some white people, you all have the nerve to talk about everything else but this right here, what the United States and what Israel is actually doing to those people over there. They are no better than Russia, trying to take over Ukraine. No better. But this white caller called in, waited for about 15 minutes to get through to them to basically say and call out the black woman, Reecie, because, the way she talk is so funny and she would cuss you out left to right. And it's so hilarious. But this white man called in to basically just say to her how she's talking, how she's cursing, she needs to cut that out, blah, 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 blah. He waited 15 minutes to get through to them to say that. But you couldn't have the decency and the sense to talk about the topic that they were talking about. But you so concerned about this woman cursing, saying the things that she's saying, but you don't have no say, no opinion on what the United States is actually doing in this stupid war. But you got the nerve to call and try to tell a black woman how to talk, how to sound. That's why I say some white people is so freaking ridiculous. You all don't know what to say, how to say it, how to move, what to do. You talk about everything else other than what you should say, but you calling, this man calling in talking about how this woman is talking, but you don't have an opinion on how the United States is harming children, It's absolutely insane to me how some white people is just so blatantly just disregarding what's happening in this world. And to me, I just think it's just pretend because you all know exactly what's going on. You're pretending like you don't know what's going on. And it's so freaking ridiculous. It's so freaking ridiculous and it doesn't make sense. But go check it out if you can. I think it was the latest podcast that they did, the Clay Kane show. And it was just so stupid. But she told him, she basically cussed his butt out. Rightfully so. Absolutely. You all comment below and tell me your thoughts on this. And if you enjoyed this video, please check out my next video because I think you will enjoy it.